So when we do factorization questions, we can do it two ways. Again, like the previous example when we did index, we can actually assign a value to the variables. Like in here, we have actually got A, we've got C, we got D, and we also got a B there. Okay. So since there are four variables, we can assign them four different values. So all we need to do, let's suppose A is equal to 3, and then the B can be a 4, C can be a 5, and D can be a 6. Okay, so then what we need to do next is just type them into our calculator, what they wrote here. So AC is A times C, so it's bracket 3 times 5, so A times C, minus another bracket B times C, 4 times 5, and then minus 3 times 6, then minus 4 times 6. Okay, then you will get an answer. Now whatever that answer is, just write it down, and then do the same for the options that we have, like A plus B. So it's 3 plus 4, so that would be 7, and then 3C minus D, so 5 minus 6 is a -1. Okay, then you will need to check which of these answers matches this one, and that would be your answer that you need to circle. Okay, so that would be the non proper way of doing it, but it works for all different types of factorization polynomials, because the main idea behind this is if this A is equal to this answer, then the A should be the same. So if I assigned A to be 3, then this should be 3 as well, and then the overall answer should match this value here. So that's the concept behind why we do substitution and testing our answer. Okay, so that would be the non-proper way, but we can still do it, okay, by assigning values. Now I'll do it the proper way. So how to do that? So it's not that hard. What you need to notice is actually the polynomial can be broken up into two parts. Okay, so in the yellow portion, you will see that there is a C that is common. So leaving A from the first term minus B from the second term. So since you need to get an A minus B as a bracket, then from the orange part, not only you take away the D from the A, I'm talking about this one, okay, but we also take away the negative sign. So it's actually a negative D that I take away. So if it's a negative D that I take away, so it's A, and don't forget, because I've taken out a negative sign outside here, then all the terms in the orange portion should change sign inside the bracket. So it's a plus, it will become a minus, and then it is a B as well. Okay, then you need to think about, okay, if I wanted this positive BD back, all I need to do is to times them together. So negative times negative is positive, and so that, take away the bracket as well. And then next is, because A minus B is the common term, then we have a C minus D in the second bracket. So that would then give a rise to the answer C. Okay, but you can still do it the substitution way, it's still the same. And always notice how many terms to break down. So if you look at the number 2 question, you can see there's actually 3 terms in the second part of these answers. So actually you're breaking the polynomial into 3 different portions. Okay, so we are gonna break it up into this, and then this. Okay, how would you notice it is because there's a R in there that's repeating in the orange yellow part, and in the orange part there's a S, and then there's a T in the purple part. So taking out the R, making us to get a P minus Q in the bracket. So once it's p minus q decided, then I'll need to make it p minus q in every other brackets that I make from the other colors, from the orange and the purple. So it's a negative s, like how I did question 1. You can go back and look at that. So it's going to be p minus q, and then t, it's already positive pt, so we just take a positive t out, so it's p minus q. And since all the brackets are exactly the same, those become our common term outside. And then the leftovers, the r minus s plus t, goes in the second bracket. So looking at this, answer is A. Okay, so to do the same for the other questions, it's going to be the same here. For number 6, if you want to do it the traditional way, you should realize that this is actually written as 36, but it would be rewritten as 6 square. So once you get that, this is actually a square minus b square, which is equal to a plus b, a minus b. So this is the formula we are following. So 6 plus the bracket in the first bracket, and then in the second one is 6 minus the bracket. Okay, and now let's open up the bracket because it's a plus. We don't need to do anything to the brackets, so it's just like that. But then in the second one, you see is a minus. So minus will affect not just the first term, but also the second term. So actually, you are changing the sign of the terms that's inside the bracket. So looking at this answer, 6 plus. So they may flip them around. So D, right? Because that's here, that's here. So D. Okay. So continue with the same logic. Again, a square minus b square, a square minus b square. So you should be familiar with square numbers in this case. Like how we got the 36, you can get a 25 or 49, okay, as long as you know your square numbers. And that would give you an idea that actually this is what you're doing. You're going to make them a square, and then we will do a square minus b square. But again, if you have no clue, you can just type in as a random number for x. So we'll do x is equal to 4, assign that, and then y would be a 5, and just get the answer and then compare which one would also give you the same matching answer. You can use substitution method, okay, but if you know the proper way, then do it the proper way. But if you don't, just use your substitution and then get the answer.